evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Humor Me with Ed Krasnick. Ed is not here tonight. He has been replaced by an angry, balding Jew. Yeah. The show is called Humor Me. It's all about comedy from the creator's perspective. And I have to tell you something, I've lost perspective. I really have. I'm out of my mind tonight. I'm having a good time, but why don't I tell my face?
You look a little stressed.
I'm a little stressed out. I chewed on some glass today. I just bit into a glass. I just went like that, and I just kept going. It was crazy. I'm doing spit takes into my own lap. I don't even understand what's going on. I will tell you that I think, being in show business now, I think the definition of insanity is living in LA, being in show business, and expecting a different result. That is the definition of insanity today. I'm turning into Howard Beale all of a sudden. Welcome to the show. I have to tell you that I'm going to do, before I bring on our guest, who is sitting not 3 feet from me, I'm into this new convention that we have. We bring in our guest, and then I'm supposed to talk to you, and they're sitting right there. And it's kind of like, it's almost like some kind of a theater game. It's like, pretend that you're ironing, and there's someone there, but it's a dry cleaning establishment, and the phone rings. And you just, I don't know, it's a weird setup. But be that as it may, there are two things that have happened. I don't know if anybody here can relate to financial struggle. I don't have a financial issue right now. Obviously, I have all the money in the world, and I just spend my time however I want to. But no, living in LA, there's a very interesting dichotomy, a very interesting thing. You can be struggling quite a bit, and yet you might have friends that you go. The other night, I'm not going to mention name, but one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, and sort of we're becoming friends, and I go to a movie night at his house. And at the movie night, quite often, there's a screening room. That's the first thing in the home. But it's an actual theater. It's not a home theater. It's a theater in a home. So you go in, and you'll have, like the other night, I saw Little Miss Sunshine. That's a great movie. Well, the producer is sitting next to me. So you have Little Miss Sunshine, you have the producer sitting next to you. You see The Last Picture Show, and you have the cast is sitting next to you. And you're in a living room, and you're in a screening room in somebody's house. Then you get in your car, and you want to drive it into the ocean. No, I'm kidding. You don't want to drive it into the ocean. The thing is, they really say that whatever is going on inside is what you get outside. And if that is true, I am driving my car into the ocean because I don't need it. A lot of people seem to need it. I don't need it. Now, what's the other thing I was going to tell you about? Oh, yes. We're gonna see a great video clip. I want to tell you, coming up in 1 minute, it's going to be 1 minute from now, is one of the funniest comedy writers, a terrific stand-up comic, and a guy who is able to be a great joke writer, and also write in long form at the same time, sitcoms and dramas and movies, and do it all. And a specialist, a guy that you call in also, like if you have a special event or something like that, you call him in. And one of the events that he writes for is the Comedy Central Roast, and he's written almost all of them, I think. So we're going to talk to him about that. His name is Mike Ferrucci. Mike is here. We're going to talk to him in a second. I want to just do something very quickly, and this is a segment that's 30 seconds long. It's called What's in My Pocket. Don't forget to do the what's in my pocket bit. Now, call quick and easy banana, recipe, don't forget the soap, okay? Cleaning Baron, ladies and gentlemen. Cleaning Baron, a wonderful, maybe a sponsor someday. Cleaning Baron for all your dry cleaning needs. If there's blood on it, we don't care. Cleaning Baron. Why should we care? Tom, one of the great writers from Everybody Loves Raymond, Tom Caltabiano, wrote a lot of the Everybody Loves Raymond scripts, and a great guy, very talented man. Here's a visitor's pass from the Fox Studios. It's for one of the great writer-producers of a show called The Simpsons. And below it says, "You will never be part of it." You will never be part of it. No, this is just, we have to let that stuff go. Because the truth is, you can be whatever you want, you can have whatever you want, you can do whatever you want to do, just not now. No, that's, and I don't know why I'm wearing a warm-up jacket, because I'm 80, and I guess the cycle of evolution is that you start in a blanket and you end up in a warm-up suit. I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to comment on everything I do while I do it. We are adjacent, we are celebrity adjacent, and we are also 10 blocks from the ocean and 2 blocks east of Ralph's supermarkets. And I must tell you that I'm feeling the chill from the produce aisle as we speak. Good to see you. All right. Humor me. Comedy from the creator's perspective. There's no better comedy creator than Mike Ferrucci. Mike Ferrucci joins us right now. There he is.
Here? Oh, yeah, there I am.
Mike, you have just come from, and we're going to see a video clip in just a second, but you have the sex tape is coming. You have come from where? Where have you come from?
I literally have just come from the Charlie Sheen Roast. The Charlie Sheen Roast. What kind of crazy subject is that for? What do you say about that guy?
It seems like a thing that's hard to get around your mind how it came up.
It's going to be, what do you say? It's boring, you know?
It is. It's already been said.
I pitched for the Emilio Estevez roast. Now, there's a lot of material there.
Well, you could have Charlie come in. Charlie on the dais is good.
We're hoping he doesn't die before the roast. This is the first time we've had that problem. So he can't make it, he's dead. What do you respond to with that? It's like,
well, he has a lot of friends, so I would imagine it's very easy to book people.
He used to have a lot of friends.
Yeah, I guess before.
I have a tracksuit too. I use it to race from rejection to rejection. I run from pitch meeting to pitch meeting.
Will you just say that you had, now I hate to do this to you, but will you just, because I have so many favorite things that you do, but will you just tell me that when you first got to L.A., some things happened to you. It was difficult for you to adjust. You came from San Francisco. When you first got to L.A., how was the adjustment period?
Oh, Ed, I just fit right in.
You did?
Oh, of course. Look at me. I'm an overweight old guy who has no money.
What happened? How did you adjust to that bridge? How did you make the bridge?
I haven't made it yet. Okay. I'm on this side of the bridge.
Okay, but you, I would imagine you came here with stuff that you'd written.
Yes, yes, and most stuff that I've written. Screenplays and sitcoms. And you know, they all have one thing in common.
What's that?
No one wants to buy them.
What is the? But you came here with a thing, and I guess it was a surprise to you that others had also had.
Oh, you mean when I was trying to sell something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It gets depressing.
Yeah.
It really does get depressing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sell a screenplay. I'm trying to sell a sitcom. I'm trying to sell my furniture. Right. No one wants to buy anything.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It drives you nuts.
Right.
I got so depressed I wrote a suicide note. Yep. And when you write a suicide note in Hollywood, it usually starts with the words "fade in." So you know, it's not a good place to live. It's
not a good place.
It's having a bad effect on you.
Well, then I guess you would get some. You know, usually you end up in therapy.
I was in therapy.
Yeah.
Yes, and my psychiatrist, you know, you met him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like everybody else in Los Angeles. You know, I go in there for my session, which is 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes, he's pitching me. Like I could do something for him. Right. I've got a project.
Yeah.
I have a project too. It's called I Want to Be Sane. That's my project.
It's a little project.
I'd like to get you involved in it. Because I hear that's something you might know a little something. Let me tell you this first, okay? Right. It's about a mermaid hit woman. That's you know, she only can kill you if you're in the water.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that's fascinating, you know. But no, he was obsessed with children. Now this guy, you know, he went to college. He has a fantastic education. you know, but he's like, oh, you know, I've got to be in show business. I've got to be a writer. I've got to be a producer. You know, he's just a nutcase. I said to him, Doctor, listen, let's stop, okay? Let me tell you about me. I'm depressed, okay? I'm depressed. I don't know how to express love. I don't know how to accept love. I sit alone in my apartment worried, and, you know, I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing. You know what he says to me? You know what you need, Mike? New headshots. New headshots, Ed. That's what he said.
He says new headshots.
I said, I need to shoot myself in the head.
Oh,
That's
my God. You see, this is the kind of stuff that you get. This is how it translates into a clip I'm about to show you. You're going to see, now, Mike, you've worked on, how many Comedy Central roasts?
All of them.
All the Comedy Central roasts.
8 years.
And I think you can always tell a Mike Ferrucci line. And I know what the lines are. No, it's in there. Okay. I know what the lines are. You're going to look, and I want you to watch this clip of a Comedy Central roast and pick the funniest and most clever line in the bit, and you'll know that it's Mike Ferrucci's. Let's watch this from the roast. This is Cloris Leachman on the Comedy Central roast of Bob Saget.
I am not here to roast Bob Saget. I'm here to John Stamos. Me, pretty boy. I'm going to strap on my Oscar and take you right there in that filthy beanbag chair. Sorry, that's John Lovitz. For the love of God, will someone please punch me in the face so I can see some stars? Can't believe I shaved for this. I mean, what am I even doing here? Who cares about Bob Saget? I was giving reach-arounds to Jack Benny before you were born. And that man had timing.
You know that what's the joke? What jokes did you write in that bit?
Several of them, but.
And what's the joke that everybody talks about?
Well, someone punched me in the face so I could see some stars.
One of the best lines of all time.
You know, she hit on me after the show. And anyhow,
she's amazing.
She's a pistol.
She's amazing. I told you, this guy, I went to his house. We saw the Last Picture Show.
Oh, really?
She's sitting next to me.
Oh, really?
And she told stories about the movie.
She's fantastic.
She is amazing. She's very funny and an amazing career, an amazing person. But let's get into the Comedy Central roast, okay? So to get to that, what is the process that you go through as a writer? Take me to the beginning, and then let's follow it all the way.
I throw everyone else out of the room and say, I'm a genius. I have to be left alone. You people are slowing me down. Let's get this done.
No, really, what happens? How do they do it? How do they do it? What's the process?
Well, the thing is, we wanted to get Betty White had done great on one of the roasts,
right?
William Shatner. So they said, well, let's go with somebody like that again. Let's get one of these old sitcom people.
Yeah.
So actually, it was my suggestion when we got Cloris Leachman. It's like, well, Betty White is kind of sweet and nice, and but Cloris Leachman is kind of the dirty old woman that she was in Mary Tyler Moore's show, you know. And let's capitalize on that. Let's go in that direction, you know. And, you know, the producer was like, oh, I don't know. So we kind of, the head writer, Ray James, fantastic. He went to bat and he said, no, let's do this. We have to do it that way. So that's the way we went. And we all got together and wrote this script.
So you're all in a room. It's group writing.
Well, we broke up into a group. Like our group was working on Cloris Leachman, and then there was another group working on something else. It was myself and Mike Rowe, Matt Harowitz.
All great.
All great.
But you're
Ray
right.
would chime in.
But you're writing. So when that talent comes in, or hopefully before they come in, they get a script of jokes.
Well, she did get the script.
Yeah.
And she called the producer and said, "Are you out of your damn mind?
She did say that.
You're sending me filth. I've won the Emmy. I've won an Oscar." And she yelled and screamed at the producer for like 5 minutes. And I was standing outside the office, and I go, "That's it. This is the last roast I'll ever do." At the end of 5 minutes, she said, "I'm just screwing with you. I love it."
Yeah, that's how she is.
Yeah,
Right.
and after that, it was, and she didn't change one word. She did it word for word.
But because she's a great performer and she prepares,
Standing ovation.
she could deliver the material.
She literally said, "I'll only do the roast if I do better than everybody else," and she did.
And that's what she said. I said it to Saw the Last Picture Show, and she's telling stories about it. And they said, "Did you think you were going to win the Academy Award?" Right. She said, "Well, I was surprised, but then again, I wasn't, because I expect to win every award.
Right.
Because I expect excellence
right.
in what I do.
Right.
Because I'm an actress. I'm
right.
a performer. So that's one end of the spectrum.
Right.
Let's go to the other end of the spectrum.
I know where you're.
Let's go to the situation.
Oh!
Let's go to the situation now. He
Sweet
had a
guy.
situation.
Very nice guy.
Very nice guy.
Nicest guy in the world. Next question.
But what happens that somebody is, because you would think we're doing a television show.
You would think.
So you're going to think that everybody's, of course. Yeah,
he's on a television show. Maybe you've heard of it.
That's right.
He has a little television experience.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know what else he has?
Yeah.
$5 million a year.
Yep. Okay, good for him.
No, I mean, it wasn't.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
But he does not get a script and prepare in the same way.
We wrote a script for him. We coached him. He really wanted to do well.
Yes.
He was very serious about it.
But when you're coaching him, I think you're seeing something. What are you seeing from him?
I'm seeing a guy who has 5 women waiting for him to get done.
Okay.
That's basically what I'm seeing.
Which is a great name for a sitcom.
Yeah.
If
It's
you
like,
think about it.
are we almost done? Because I have a lot of sex I have to get to.
A lot of sex. And then I'm going to bomb.
Yeah.
Well, now what? But did you guys kind of knew that he was not going to do well?
Well, we had done that with other people. I mean, we have taken people that had never really done stand-up before, like Gary Busey.
And they had been successful.
Who literally is not from this planet. I don't know if you know that or not.
I don't. He's on another world.
Yeah. But I mean, we had done that with other people.
And they had done well.
Marie McCormick for the Larry Cable. I wrote a lot of her stuff.
Yeah.
She killed it.
Killed.
But, it was kind of a last-minute thing for him to be on the show.
Yeah.
It was one of those last-minute booking things, and everyone thought it was going to be a great idea.
Sure.
And, we wrote him all these jokes, and pretty hard jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a roast. And, he tried, and we went over and over and over. I mean, right up until the time he went on stage. But here's the thing. Imagine doing your first open mic on television.
Sure.
Following, like, really experienced comics.
Sure.
In front of a whole room of people who hate every word that comes out of your mouth.
Sure.
The people in New York take that whole Jersey Shore thing a little too seriously,
Yeah.
As soon as you started, you suck! He didn't stand a chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, he struggled through it. He did the best he could.
Yeah, he did the best he could.
But
that's right.
it was
well, now, but take me through.
I've had nights like that.
Listen.
Not you, because you're a genius.
You may have had drunk people in a crowd, but you never had that night because you are a performer and you're a great comedian.
Well.
So you never had, like, the material has been delivered and it's great material.
Right.
But you might have, you could have, it could be the Klan out there.
Right.
I performed in front of the Klan one night.
I have a whole Klan chunk, I do.
You do the Klan chunk. You do the Imperial Wizard Margarine joke. They love it. They go crazy. Imperial Wizard
I actually
Margarine.
perform under a hood.
You go out to the Klan and you say, how many people have been under the hood?
Hi, I'm Dane Cook. That's my opening line. We love you.
Now let's get let me get into the pressure of writing, because you've written for some very interesting people. You've written for Howard Stern.
Oh, I love him.
And you've written for Air America Radio.
I have.
And you've written for Triumph the Insult Comic Dog.
And they all have one thing in common.
And what is that?
They all still owe me money. Even the dog.
The dog is tight. Dog is tight.
Very
Now,
tight.
now what? Let's go through like the different kinds of writing that you could do. Like for Howard Stern, that's a very specialized kind of job, and the roast is too. But is writing for Howard Stern easy?
Well, I'll tell you what the whole Howard Stern situation was. You know, Bobby Slayton, who I love.
Sure. Great.
I mean, he was really kind of my inspiration to do stand-up in the first place. Always been wonderful to me.
Yeah.
And he used to do a Howard Stern show all the time. And, you know, I just said, well, the next time you do it, just ask him if he wants to buy some jokes from me, you know,
Right.
whatever, just for the heck of it. So Gary Delabate calls me up. I had to submit 3 packets of material.
Describe to people what a packet is.
Well, just a bunch of jokes, you
Yeah.
know, that's, you know, different ideas and different jokes. And I submitted 3 times, and then finally I'm working on a pilot one day for Lauren Michaels. And the assistant comes in, PA, and says, Howard Stern's on the phone, wants to talk to you.
He's on the phone.
He's on the phone.
Yeah.
And I was a big fan of Howard Stern. You know, I had well, I don't know, I never told you this, but, you know, I had a bad breakup with someone years ago when we were doing stand-up together.
Yeah, I think I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I went into this depression. Well, let's say I went into a deeper depression than my constant depression.
Okay.
You know, it got a little deeper.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I'd be like really depressed in the morning. A lot of people don't get depressed late at night. They can't sleep. My eyes would open, boom,
First
depression.
thing,
First,
yeah.
before I got out of bed.
Right.
Why am I getting out of bed? What
Right.
is there to get out of bed for?
Sure.
You know?
The brain starts
Exactly.
going. Yeah.
Just miserable.
Yeah.
So what I started to do was put on Howard Stern in the morning. You know, and just hearing his attitude and his like, hey, grow some balls. You know, he had that kind of like, you know, don't be such a pussy all the time attitude. And little by little, I started listening to him, and it just kind of got me out of it eventually, you know. I used to laugh, and I was like, wow. And he, you know, I told Gary that once. I don't know if I said, I want you to tell Howard, because Howard would never talk to me. But anyhow, but, you know, I'd always had this, it was like a dream, actually, when I finally had a chance to write for him.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I used to listen to the show every single day.
Sure.
For years.
Sure. Well, it's a very funny show. He's
Yes.
amazing. He's a trendsetter.
Well, he's a genius, actually, if you really get to know him. Because one thing about Howard is he knows what he does well, and that's what he does.
Right.
He said, I want to be the biggest radio personality in the world.
Yeah.
That's what I want. His father was in radio,
Right.
and that's what he became. That's why he hasn't done TV, or he's done one movie, but he does what he does best, you know.
Is that him?
No.
Not him at all, really.
He,
A part of him. It has to be.
It's part of him. He actually said something really revealing. He said, I can be more honest on the air than I can be in my private life.
Okay.
He's, you know, in his private life, he's very, very kind of closed. Yeah.
But now, one thing that I didn't know about Howard Stern is he's a huge proponent of meditation.
Yes, he is.
Enormous.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite, I mean, there's people who meditate, it fits with everybody. I mean, all kinds of people do it.
Right.
But I wouldn't ordinarily think Howard Stern.
No, he's a very intelligent guy. But the thing about Howard is he started to do this type of show, and it got a really big audience, and he got just gigantic. And, you know, that's what he kind of got to be known for.
Right.
And he always wanted to give his fans what they expected. He's like, you know, these people expect something from me every day.
I'm going to give it to them.
And they're tuning in every day, and this is what they want, you know.
But does he not want? I mean, are you inferring that it might not be what he wants, but that's not the kind of performer he is?
Well, I can tell you the kind of comedy he loves.
Yeah.
He loves really smart comedy. He loves Letterman and people like that.
Yeah.
That's who he listens to.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, what does that tell you?
Well, the movie was amazing. I thought the movie was great, and the movie is not like the show.
Right.
It is not like the show.
No, it's not. I mean, but he is really great at you know, it's really, you could write 5 minutes and go on stage and do your act, or a half hour. Try and sit in a studio for 4 hours a day,
Right.
and be entertaining.
Right.
Who can do that?
It's very.
That takes a skill.
It's a real skill. These are skills, but what I admire about it, and I think, you know, I work for Chelsea Handler, I work for Ryan Seacrest.
Who?
Exactly. And I imagine, and I don't think, certainly I think what they do comes out of who they are.
Right.
But I don't think that anybody is really, you know, in their private world, that's not who they are. No. You know, and I don't really know that any performer in their private world, because the life is so unbalanced.
Right.
You're spending 90 million hours in front of a camera,
right.
and when you do that, you want to go home and put your head in the icebox.
Right. Well, he said, I go home, I put all my food in a bowl, I go down to the basement of my house, and I sit there like a dog.
You have to.
That's what he said to me.
You have to.
That's my life.
Because you have to have separation, and you have to have quiet, and you have to, as much as you're in front of people. Now, you're a guy who, from what I know,
well, has no life.
No, but from what I know,
is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say you have no. No, you're happy. You're a happy. Somebody says to you, "I need 100 jokes, and I need it tomorrow." And you say, most people.
I think Ray just said that to me.
Oh, I'm sure he did. And most people say, "Oh my God, I need 100 jokes tomorrow. I'm gonna. What am I going to do?" You say, "I'm going into the room." And I will come out tomorrow with 100 jokes. And that doesn't bother you.
No. It's what I say for the 2 weeks after that.
But why doesn't that bother you?
Does it bother me?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what else to do. You know, I'm not an astronaut. I'm not a cowboy.
But you have a skill.
I'm not a heart surgeon. I've tried.
After we lost the first few people, we went a different way.
Yeah.
But no, but you don't. Most people would be very upset about that. They'd be very frightened about that. They'd feel a lot of pressure in it.
Oh, there's pressure.
But you don't seem to, it doesn't seem to affect your
work.
Well,
that's because you don't see me when I'm in my apartment pacing back and forth going, oh my God, what did I do with my life?
Well, what about that? Because Woody Allen, Woody Allen used to write jokes, and he would write the jokes on a little piece of paper, and he'd throw them on the floor.
Right.
And then he'd walk around in the jokes.
Right.
And he'd pick this one and that one. What do you do?
I go to Starbucks and say, if this doesn't work out, you've got my application, right? Because I could be here next week.
And you really feel that pressure?
Oh, yeah.
But you always deliver.
Well, I think the pressure helps you to deliver a little bit.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I have a good work ethic.
You have a very good work ethic.
I'm a blue-collar person.
You come from that background.
Right.
You grew up in Connecticut.
Right.
And
I come from factory workers and people like that, So you get up, you go to work every day. People pay you, you do the job.
But you're doing a very specific kind of job.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think that was the problem with me when I did. Am I doing a lot of this?
There's a little. Listen, we're on. We're people. You're Italian.
Glee?
I'm a Jew.
This is Glee, isn't it?
This is Glee.
Because
this is jazz hands.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jazz hands, but it's good with comedy. It's a rhythmic thing.
I don't know. I'm very nervous. You make me nervous. I've only known you 30 years.
I know, it's really a long time.
When are you going to stop making me nervous? Stop making me nervous.
Boy, I am people know me as the Hebrew hurricane. I come in, and it's like a
penetrating, storm. You just want to get to it.
I'm like the guy that...
You want to get me.
They had a Dick Van Dyke show where, remember, it was he has Laura on the show, this guy who's got a talk show, and he says, there's nothing going to happen here. And then all of a sudden a light comes from the sky. And he says, I'm Ray Murdoch, and welcome to X-Ray, where we X-ray people. And he gets her to confess that Alan Brady is bald,
I love that episode.
Brilliant episode. Anyway, what was I saying? So you have this work ethic, and you have a process. Are you not married to jokes? Like, would you go in and Ray James, who's the head writer of the Comedy Central Roast, he looks at your pages, and he goes like this. He goes, no way. This is crap. This is good. And then what do?
I say, I still get the check, right?
But
you makes it a lot easier.
But you don't feel anything.
Well, you can't. I mean, there's some jokes I would argue for. Like, I kept pushing for this one joke for the last 3 roasts.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't put it in.
What's the joke?
And I ended up using it somewhere.
What is the joke?
It was, you couldn't even open a movie if it came in a Netflix envelope.
Good joke.
I thought it was a good joke.
Good joke.
It's not one of his favorites. It's like, you could do better.
Does he say that?
Oh, yeah. I say it sometimes, like, no, we could do better. You have to push yourself a little bit.
Yeah. But what makes it? Now, we talked about the roast. The history of the roast, for people who don't know this, is it comes from the Friars Club, is that the history of the roast?
Well, here's the thing that people always say: the roasts are really dirty and filthy and mean, but they've never seen a private Friars Club roast.
Right, you don't get to see those. I mean, we have some of the tapes of the radio one, the ones that were radio, but there's something else.
The ones they actually did
roasts.
in the Friars, right?
Yeah,
they were just as bad.
Yeah, they're
Just
really
as
they're
dirty.
really filthy. But the
Filthy
thing
and
about
mean.
thing about the filthy and mean is that you have legends
Right.
doing filthy and mean.
Right.
Like they're legends, and they all know each other.
So you're saying the situation isn't a legend?
I'm saying the idea that you would roast somebody that you didn't really know
Yeah.
is a very strange idea.
Really?
No, I mean it's very strange. It's TV.
Wait, I'm going to call comedy.
It's TV. I mean, they're
They're going the wrong way with this
don't
thing.
get me wrong. It's very popular.
And I need this job.
And
Don't blow it for me.
And I love Comedy Central. There's no comedy network that's better than Comedy Central.
Did you just pitch over there? Is that why you said that?
I'm looking at you while I say it.
Yeah.
I can't even look at the camera.
You actually said that with a straight face.
Do you know what Jonathan Katz said to me one time?
You are an actor, my friend.
Jonathan Katz said to me, "You know, Ed, the only thing that's comedic about Comedy Central is that they have the word comedy at the beginning of the." That's when he was on Dr. Katz.
I love comedy. I love Dr. Katz. And
he's
he
genius.
wrote my favorite joke, which it takes an hour to tell, so we won't tell it,
Oh,
but
my
it is
God.
my favorite joke.
I had him on. He has a new. I've had him on twice. He had a new show. He has a new thing that I'll send you. But anyway, there's nothing funnier than watching Jonathan Katz bomb in front of an audience.
Which a lot of people had the chance to do.
Right, because the stuff is so good.
It's
but
so
he's
smart.
but he would look out at the audience when he bombed, and he would do these things occasionally. He'd look out. This was his way of getting angry at the audience. He'd say, "Exactly, ladies and gentlemen, precisely."
And they would hate him even more.
That's it. He'd say
I
precisely.
know. I mean, he had such class.
Yeah, it's a good one. The best one-line joke, right? One of the best ever made. But now let's go back to you. Let's go back to.
Do I look like Richard Lewis in this getup?
You have a little Richard.
Little
That's
bit.
great.
He was another idol.
Oh, he was my idol
Love him.
doing stand-up. Absolutely.
Another one of my favorite jokes. I know my girlfriend is losing interest in sex because during foreplay she says things like, "Okay, I get the point."
Yeah, okay, I get the point, was one of his. And then he said, my girlfriend, he was such a great writer. He said, my girlfriend thinks that we should have, I said, shouldn't we have a simultaneous orgasm? And he looks at him and he says, two wrongs. Two
I hear the
wrongs.
director laughing. Laugh at my jokes.
But I know, anyway, I know you're fans of the, of some of the great comedians.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Like you, for instance.
come on now.
I'm one of your biggest fans.
Well,
as
vice
you know.
versa. You know that too. Who are some of the best comedy writer performers? I'm not talking about the funniest comedian. I'm talking about who writes.
Well, Bill Hicks was a great writer.
Oh, I love Bill. I can't believe he made it. Well, I can believe it. I was friends with him too.
Great. I know you were.
Yeah, I loved him.
Greg
him.
Giraldo was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good writers.
I mean, of course, Stephen Wright and people like that. And, I love Dangerfield and those older guys. I worked with Henny Youngman. And,
Wow.
I love the joke guys.
They wrote jokes.
Yeah, they wrote jokes.
And now let's go the.
I can't get by on my personality yet. You know me. There's nothing there.
Let's go to the other.
There's nothing.
This is nothing, people. This is no. With the who? Oh, did you see the Joan Rivers roast? The Joan Rivers not roast.
The documentary?
Her documentary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, I haven't seen it,
Oh, really?
but I really want to see it.
Very good.
What did you come away with from the Joan Rivers?
I'm
documentary?
glad I'm not Joan Rivers.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I came away with.
Great comic, though.
Great comic, but, it's tough. It's a tough job. Even when you're successful. That's what made me think it's like she's done this her whole life.
Yeah.
And even now, she's still going through the things comics always have to go through.
At that age.
At that age.
Now you did the road for a long time.
Oh.
I mean, a really long time.
Too long.
Now, what finally pushed you over into writing and staying and getting off the stage?
I was working at a gig in Canada. Did I ever tell you this?
Tell it.
Okay,
Tell
I was
it.
working.
I'm
This
not
is
sure.
the night I literally. No, this is true. I mean, I literally had an epiphany that night. Is that how you say it? Epiphany. I'm a
epiphany.
writer. I don't know how to say
Epiphany.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working at this gig where right next to a slaughterhouse. Good place for a comedy club.
Okay.
And the people who would work in the slaughterhouse would all be drunk and on drugs, using band saws, which I never really understood. And they would come over to the comedy club and they would heckle everybody. They'd had a band, and then they had the comic, and then they had the band, and then they had a comic.
Yeah.
And they would heckle the band, throw stuff at the band. You suck. We hate you. And then heckle the comic, throw things at me. A guy ran onto the stage, got into a fight with me, a physical altercation practically. And they pulled the guy off, and they said, "Dave, you just can't keep doing this night after night." I mean, the guy just, every night he's there. You know? And I got done with that gig, and then we had to drive 12 hours or something to the next gig. And I said, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore, you know? Because I was always on the road. I was always working these hell gigs, you know, these one-nighters, you know, where the people are drunk, they're not paying attention. It's like babysitting people.
Do you remember the word? Was there a worse?
That was a bad one. I had one where a fireman walked up on stage holding a boot in the middle of my act and pushed me out of the way and said, "I'm collecting for UNICEF." And I said, "That's wonderful, but you know, I don't run through a burning building telling jokes. So maybe you could let me finish my act."
Do you know that, and we talked about this, but I had the pleasure of opening for you at the University of Reno.
Oh.
And now you're thinking, the University of Reno, what is that going to be? So we go down. Now this was before the World Poker Tour. This was not a glamorous place now.
No.
So, but Mike has a way of going on the road. There's a certain way that you do it. He gets a Cadillac that's like 100. It's like Cruella de Vil would see this Cadillac and go, "Too big." So he gets a Cadillac. He pulls up to the house and he says, "Get in the car." And I get in the car and he says, "This car has separate temperature controls. You can have any, if you want to, look, if you want 90 degrees, you do 90. I have mine over here." So I know it's going to be a good trip. We go down there, we get on stage, and Mike goes on with this joke. He says, "It's great to be here in Reno, where the mayor gave me the key to understanding roulette." That's the opening joke.
And you know what I remember about that joke?
Yeah.
You're the only one who laughed at it.
Oh God, did I love that joke. He gave me the key to understanding roulette.
It's all in the pause, Ed.
Yeah, the key.
Something I couldn't teach the situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, he was in that situation. Well, now I'm gonna bring it around to something here because I've asked a lot of comics this question. Mm-hmm. It's a strange question.
How am I doing so far?
You're amazing.
All right.
If
we're taking calls.
If you had a choice, and this is the choice. The choice is you can be funny or you can be happy.
That's a tough one. Because I had never been able to do the two things simultaneously.
You've been happy.
I've been happy. Well.
But not.
Happy. Yeah. Well.
When you're more contented, are you less funny?
No, you know what? I've heard that a lot, that writers have to be miserable in order to... I don't believe... that doesn't work for me.
I don't believe it either.
I like to be happy.
Right.
When I'm happy, I can write better.
Sure.
When I'm depressed, I'm just so great at being depressed. I've done it for so many years.
Yeah.
I don't do anything but be depressed. I could take depressed to a whole new level. Except for you. You're the king.
I'm the king. I'm the Ken Burns of depression.
I opened for your depression.
With the depression.
I'm an opening
Because some people
act.
are very entertaining with depression. They say, "How you doing?" "I'm very depressed." I say, you know, it's like me. I'm there with a sickle and a hood. Max von Sydow would see me. "I'm sorry, I can't go in. It's too
You're
scary
depressed,
for
Mike,
me."
but we had a guy here last week, most depressed guy I've ever seen. We got to get that guy back.
Yeah, I mean, come on. No, but really, I've been looking into it, you know, a little bit. This whole, you know, depression thing, and that it really is. If you want to be very good at it, you have to practice every day.
Be depressed?
Yeah, you got to practice.
Oh,
it's a good practice.
Are you kidding?
Just like happiness, I think is a practice. I do. I think it's practice.
Really?
I think you have to change your, not only your, it's not really your thinking, but it's you have to let stuff go. And the problem with being depressed is that you try to control a lot of stuff.
Well, you ever wonder why we're this way all the time? Why? I mean, we're not working in a coal mine. You know what I mean? We're not homeless.
I don't.
We actually have great lives in a way.
Yeah, and
compared to some people.
In the great scheme of things, sure. Well, everybody has it. I mean, in the great scheme of things, we're very lucky. We're very lucky. But no, I think it's habitual, and I think what happens to your brain is that you get into the habit. A lot of people grow up in houses that that are pretty dysfunctional, and then you get into the habit.
So you know my family.
Listen, my family did Dysfunctional Family on Ice. They did it for Disney. My father skated backwards.
And whole.
Yeah. Anyway, before we go, we're gonna go.
Oh, we're gone already?
No, we're gonna go. But before, this is a great show, by the way.
Oh my God.
Before we go.
I didn't say anything funny yet.
Everything you said was funny. I'm gonna ask you one thing, and I usually ask 5 questions. I'm gonna ask you one question because you'll love this question.
All right. I didn't even answer the other question.
These are the questions.
There's no answer for it.
Who killed Kennedy? I want your theory, and then you can take a second, and we're gonna close with it.
I think it's the guy I just pitched my last show to.
That's it. Probably. You're exactly right. Because I pitched to him also.
You know, he's a dream killer.
That's right.
So why not a president?
He probably killed Dr. King, too.
Oh, my God. He probably did.
He had a dream.
He did. I got an idea for a show.
My God. Well, I want to, first of all, thank you for coming over because you came straight from the offices of the Charlie Sheen Roast.
Are you just ending this early because I'm boring?
This is how we do it now. That's how we do it. We never do nothing nice and easy. We always do it nice and rough.
I wanted to talk to you about your life because that's what fascinates me.
You don't want to talk about that.
Look at this. You have a TV show. I've always wanted my own TV show.
This is actually, I'm very lucky to be here. And
you have the old sit from the Jack Parr show, apparently.
We do. Jack Parr was here earlier today. He was dead, but as you know, I see dead people. So, no, Jack Parr was my idol. Absolutely. He was a human being
and
on
very depressed
television.
person.
He was. But a human being on television, this is a time when if you're a human being, you might break through.
I felt like we talked like human beings.
We did.
I'm not here doing shtick.
No, we did talk.
Probably should have. Would have been funnier.
No, you're very funny. Mike Ferrucci, everybody, the fantastic Mike Ferrucci. Look for the Comedy Central Roast. Look for the Charlie Sheen Roast. Pick out the jokes that are the best. That's the guy who wrote them. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank the crew. I want to thank Tim. I want to thank Brendan. And I want to thank Justin on his directorial maiden voyage. Very nicely done.
Thank you, Ed.
All right, Justin, thank you.
Turn the camera on?
No.
Oh.
The lens cap was on. I didn't think it was possible to keep a lens cap on a large camera. I want to say that next week we're going to be doing a special show about funny comedy writers who write children's television. It's going to be kind of interesting. And then I say this out loud and I mean it. We're trying to get Woody Allen on the show, and I'm not kidding. The next month we're going to get somebody major, big, like a Woody Allen type of comedic personality is going to be on this show. I want to say keep coming back. It works if you work it. I'm Ed Krasnick. See you next time.